So we're sitting here, and I woke up to the news that in Amsterdam there were these riots against Israelis, and now I'm reading that the Israelis started the riots. The soccer players started the riots, but two things I don't get about the story. One, if this was the case, in any case, where was the Dutch police stopping the riots? I understand the riots were extremely violent and the children were attacked. And I understand that it was more one-sided. I didn't hear of Muslims being attacked. Even if an Israeli person tore a Palestinian flag, which we can understand after the Israelis here are under attack, this is a peaceful scene which can any minute change by rockets from Lebanon, which happened to me countless times. And in the north, constant bombardment. And some of these fans have been in Gaza and Lebanon fighting terrorists. And when they see the terrorist flags, you can understand that they're a little bit angry. So they tore a flag. Is that an excuse to attack them? And where is the Dutch police again? And the fact that they say, oh, you use the World War II card. It's not a card, it's a fact that the Jews were under attack in Europe for thousands of years, and especially World War II. I was just reading a terrible testament of a person telling about Kristallnacht, which is between the 9th and 10th of November, 1938, I believe that was the date, or 39, I'm not sure. Jews in Europe, all over Europe, in like Austria, Germany, especially, there were people breaking down their doors, attacking them in their beds, throwing them out the window. And in one case, this guy, this old man said he was a young boy and he thought his life is over. He was sleeping and his small dog was trying to attack him from the Nazi. And the guy cursed in German, Jewish dog, and killed his dog. So do I feel safer in Tel Aviv? Hell yes. Than in Amsterdam or anywhere in Europe or anywhere in the world? Yes, I do. Do I believe that anybody deserves to be beaten just because they don't like the Palestinian flag? Well, Jews are at the receiving end of violence so long. I'm just sick of it, and I don't think I'll ever go back to Europe. I really don't. Not because I'm going to a soccer game, but anything can incite the violence. Plus, I have a dog who needs constant medication. This is what I have received from the Lord. I have a dog who needs attention. I don't trust anyone to give her medication. She has epilepsy since the war started. Animals are victims of World War II and any war. And at least in Gaza, the Israeli soldiers are saving the dogs. Just recently I met a dog that was saved from Gaza. I know at least 5 dogs that were rescued by soldiers. I've never heard of Palestinians, except I have one person. I don't want to generalize. I know one person, Tarak, who's saving dogs in Ramallah, but he's so unique and rare in the landscape. And the way you treat animals is the way you are humane. This is your sign of humanity. And to murder a dog, to kill a dog, just because he belonged to a Jewish boy, that happened not just one time. They euthanized dogs that belonged to Jews. And in this case, it was a violent attack. But not only Jews were not allowed dogs that belonged to Jews were euthanized, and cats. And it's just, we have to remember that the World War II card is not a card. There's some Jews, I don't want to mention them, American Jews, one particular comes in mind, was a PhD, so what? It's so easy to get a PhD in some social science shit. He claims that Jews are using the Holocaust. They're not using the Holocaust. The Holocaust is in our genes. It's in our DNA. It's in our blood. We have been the victims and receiving end of violence for thousands of years, which is why so many people are looking forward to Trump saving the situation and fighting back. Because Kamala Harris sure as hell wasn't going to do anything about it. She was blaming the victims. And we are the victims. Yes, I know there are also other victims. There are people that it's not their fault. But if you let in terrorists in your country, you can't say it's not your fault. If terrorists are allowed to do whatever they want and you celebrate celebrate the murder of Israelis and other people, by the way, not just Israelis, then there's something deeply, disturbingly wrong with you. And there's a need for police. And the UN has not been a good police. Yeah, I know you want to go to the dog beach. We'll go. This dog has been rescued from a Bedouin village. There are wonderful Bedouin people, but there are some Bedouins who don't know how to take care of dogs because according to their religion, dogs are unholy. Also to extreme Jews, some of them do not like dogs, but I don't think they will mistreat them. They do. We have all kinds of bad people on both sides. This is why I wonder, where was the Dutch police? Where was the Dutch police? What the hell do you have to do? You don't have a war going on. Why the hell didn't you show up and just stop the riots? Why were the riots? Why does the Prime Minister have to send airplanes to rescue the Israelis? They're afraid to go out in the streets? This is ridiculous. And this leader of the right-wing Dutch party, Wim something, why aren't you doing anything? You say you love Israel. Well, love is a verb. Then you do something about it. You get security so a Jewish person can feel safe. It's definitely against Israel, but it's definitely also against Jews because you can't separate the two. It's really sad because I have good relations with Arabs. This week, Israeli Arab helped me when my dog was stuck behind a door. She needed her medication just then, and I couldn't get into the door. And he saved me a lot of money from calling somebody to break down the door. He managed very cleverly to open the door, and didn't ask for money. I offered, but he did it out of the goodness of his heart. There's so many good people, on both sides, I would say. And so many bad people on both sides as well. I don't know what the soccer fans were doing. There's no excuse for violence in any case, but I'm sure that the Muslims, the hooligan Muslims, not Muslims in general, were just celebrating the opportunity to beat up Israelis because they feel so frustrated, as if the honor of their people have been harmed in Gaza. But they wouldn't want to live with terrorists. That's why they emigrated to Europe, because they don't want to live in Muslim countries run by terrorists, right? That's why they come from Iran and Morocco and every Muslim country, because if it was so good for them in the Muslim countries, they wouldn't go to Europe, because Europe doesn't have as many terrorists at this point. So I'm really kind of a little bit upset. I had a Dutch husband, didn't have a great time being married to him. Found out his aunt saved Jewish kids during the World War II. And in the same family, you can have one person saving the kids and one person cooperating with the Nazis. So it's so complicated. And that's why you should never generalize people, but people that are violent should be stopped by police, which is why I'm so glad Trump and people that are very strong should be in office, because defunding the police is the last thing you should do in any society. Because just now there was a man talking weird stuff. I was afraid, but I knew I have my dog next to me. This dog is God sent. I don't have to be afraid because I have a dog that if anyone attacks me, she's going to bite him, I think. And that's what dogs do. They protect us. But I know we have a police. So I don't think he would have done anything. I was asking, is there security around here? I just don't understand what the Dutch were thinking. They knew there was a game. They knew Israel is a target for Muslim extremists. Why didn't they bring the police? When I lived in Europe, every Jewish holiday there was the police guarding the synagogue and the people coming out of the prayer. I can't even begin to tell you what it feels like to live in Israel after you lived in Europe and you see people spit on a synagogue and urinate on a synagogue, and you see and you hear terrible things being said, and the context of World War II will never go away, because we can never forget and we can never forgive what happened. And it's so good to live here despite the rockets, despite all the tensions between the people here. And I'm talking about Jews against Jews and so forth. We have a lot of disagreements and a lot of, there are unpleasant people here that would do nothing to help me. And there are wonderful Muslim people that would just do it out of the goodness of their own heart, help me if I have a difficult situation. However, I feel safer here. And a lot of Arab Israelis don't want to leave because they have a good situation here. And they live in a good way here, better than in Muslim countries and better than in Europe. They don't have discrimination like they have in Europe. Some countries in Europe don't allow Muslim women to go covered and so forth. They don't respect the Muslim religion just as Israel they do. I'm not talking about extremists, of course. And I really thank the Bedouins for having this dog. I'm so happy. They have too many dogs there, and I need a guard dog. We all need a guard dog. We all need somebody to guard us and protect us. And I don't know, I just feel safer here. I really feel safer here. I have to say it 100%. Because I never hid my identity and never will hide my identity. I heard that people were beaten and they were asked, are you Jews? And they said, no, we're not Jews. You can't hide. You can run, but you cannot hide. I don't want to hide, you know? My ancestors came here from Ukraine, so they don't have to hide. And I did live in Europe for a while, thinking I'd be safer, and it wasn't. It wasn't the case. I never felt safe. And I never felt the Jewish community protecting me or my children or anything. I really trust the IDF, even though what happened in October 7th, I trust the IDF more than anything. I think the people that go to the IDF are good people. There are Muslims there too, and yeah, we trust them to protect us more than I trust the Dutch police or the Swiss police or the German police. So here I am, and I have my dog here. Nobody's going to scream at me because I have a dog, and they can, but you know, I lived in Europe. I had to move because of a dog that was protecting me because the barking. And in here, you just don't do that. They understand people need protection. She doesn't bark a lot anyway, just if she hears something suspicious at night. Right, Shiva? You have to understand dogs also, but where is the watchdog of Holland and Europe? Where is the Dutch police? What the hell are they doing? Smoking grass? I really wonder. As a person who was married to a Dutchman, I do not have Dutch nationality, and I'm actually happy. I don't care about the money. I don't want to be identified with the Dutch. And my kids are. It's their father. It's half of their ancestry. Actually, it turned out to be Vikings because it came out Scandinavian DNA. They're Vikings originally, not Germanic. I was surprised. That's what the DNA said. My half was Jewish, almost 100%, which is amazing, thinking thousands and thousands of generations of persecuted Jews were involved in creating me. Thousands of years of Jews being afraid, and yet they stayed Jews for me to be Jewish almost 100%. And my kids are not, but that's okay. I don't mind. I just want them to be happy, but I don't want them to have to hide their identity. So I ask that the Dutch king does something. Seems like a nice guy. It's almost kritalnacht. People are still alive, very few people, but still alive to tell how they killed the animals and the dogs of Jews and threw them out of the window. So it's about time we stop it, and we don't say we used the Holocaust. The Holocaust used us. We were used by the Holocaust. It's such a tragedy. You don't say that to an Armenian who used your genocide, because the Armenians had a genocide too, but you don't use the word genocide to describe the killing of terrorists who hide behind civilians. And if you do that, you shouldn't be president. That's what happened to Kamala. It's called karma. And I'm really hoping that Trump will really bring peace into the region. He has a Lebanese son-in-law, was born in Lebanon. He's a Christian, but he gets along good with the Muslim community in America, which is a miracle, because in Lebanon they don't get along. And I really hope, Trump's family has a Jewish son-in-law, a Lebanese son-in-law. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to have all these people in one family, and that's what we should be. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be joining together and not killing dogs because they belong to Jews, or not killing dogs because you think it's okay to abuse them, and not killing anyone, actually. I wish everybody, to be safe from violence, but if somebody's going to kill me, you better believe I'm happy the IDF is there to protect me. and people are sacrificing their young lives so I can sit here and record this. I don't take that for granted. That every minute of freedom I have from rockets, it's because the IDF soldiers are there, sacrificing their lives. We have over 800 soldiers killed by terrorists, protecting me and my dog. Yes, you want to go to the beach, I know. So, and now they can't even fly to Amsterdam. It's okay. We don't have to go anywhere. My grandparents, after the Holocaust, never left Israel. Never, ever wanted to go back to Europe. I don't understand why Israelis what are they looking for in Europe? The history is so ugly. I wouldn't want to go to a place with such an ugly history, to be quite honest. Sometimes I think, oh, I like Italy, it's such a beautiful country. But then I think, yeah, don't forget what they did to Jews there. If you watch the movie, The Garden of Contini, and how they took Jews that had so much money and beautiful homes and humiliated them and sent them to concentration camps in kettle carts and just took everything they had, then I think, who wants to go to Europe anyway? There's not one country that doesn't have Jewish blood on their hands, their ancestors. And I think it's a beautiful movement of ancestors of Nazi and collaborators who embrace Israel. There's so much hope for humanity in from those people. But we will never forget, and we will never forgive, and we must talk and remind people what happened in Kristallnacht, just in November 9th, 10th. And no dog should be killed because he belonged to a Jewish person. This is a Bedouin dog. This belonged to Bedouin people, Arab people who had too many dogs. Why in the hell should she be in danger of rockets? Arabs have been killed. Muslims have been killed by rockets of terrorists. It's about time people unite against terrorists. Just like the father-in-law of Trump's daughter, Tiffany, says, enough with the terrorism, because he lived it. He had to flee Lebanon because the Christians can't live in Lebanon. He knows what's happening in Lebanon, and he supports the end of terrorism in Lebanon. And the UN did nothing. We could have been invaded. The Israeli soldiers found caves and plans to invade Israel from the north as well as from the south. So it's about time to end this shit. And I'm looking at the sea and I'm trying to be calm, but I really feel safer here than anywhere else in the world. Right, Shiva? Peace, later.